Looking for a great crochet project, whether you're a beginner or a pro? Watch today's video. I have the solution for you. Today I'm going to give you a pattern for a casserole carrier. I use ours all of the time. It is a very handy thing to have in your kitchen. It makes a great gift as well. So I'm going to give you everything you need to know on how to crochet your own casserole carrier. For this project, I'm just going to use one strand of the Peaches and Cream style cotton yarn. I have done it on other projects where I've used two strands and it turns out really cute and it's nice and thick. But I'm going to go ahead and do just one strand on this one, and I am going to use a G crochet hook. So to start off, you need to make a slip knot. So the way you do a slip knot, I just wrap it around my index finger and my thumb, give it a twist, and pull up your yarn. And now you have your slip knot. So we are going to chain, and I can give you the number, but I think you need to focus more on the length, that we want to go 14 inches of a chain. And so I'm just going to do a simple chain, nice and loose, so that we can crochet our next row in it. So just a chain for 14 inches. Okay, that's roughly 14 inches. So for a half double crochet, I am going to skip the first two chains, loop over one and go into your third chain, draw back one, and then draw back all three. Go into your next one, you loop over one, go under, I like to go under the two stitches of the base chain. So I just drew through one and I draw through then all three. And just continue your row across with half double crochets. I'm down to the last stitch, and this was your first chain. You go ahead and go into your last chain and do a half double crochet. And now this is where you just go by how many stitches you did. And we need to count how many half double crochets are on your row. And a half double crochet, each one is this little V. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 43 half double crochets on my project. So at the end of the row, chain 2, turn your project, and this chain 2 counts as one half double crochet, so that lines up with this first one. So that's one there, so that means we skip that and we're going to go to this next spot, go through both of the V's, both strands of the row, so it gets a nice consistent look, and do the half double crochet. So just draw over, go through underneath both, and the half double crochet. At the end of every row, I just make it a habit that I count to make sure that you have the same number of half double crochets in each row. At the end of each row, it is important, like I just said, to count all of your stitches, but to know that this is where you put a stitch, because that's on the top of the one below. And then this, like I said, is considered a stitch, and so you put one in there as well. And then when you count your stitches on each row, they should be even. So continue this, going that direction until it is roughly about 10 inches wide, and then we will put the box edging around it. Okay, here is my last stitch of my last row. And this measures approximately 14 by 10. And I've counted, I have the same number of stitches on each one. Now we need to make your wall, I guess you could call it, your edging. And I want to have these stitches stand up. So I'm going to chain one, and then I am going to go around the post of the first double crochet, and I'm just going to slip stitch, meaning I'm just going to get my needle over to that section. And I'm going to turn my project so that I'm working down the long direction, and I'm going to start a row of half double crochets. So I'm going to chain 2. Now I'm going to half double crochet around each post. So this is the post of the next one in the row. I'm going to put it through and draw through all on the hook. Your next post, draw through 1, draw through all on the hook. So now you can see, let me hold it this way, you can see that this row is standing up. So we're going to go around and we're going to do this same thing. In each corner, you're going to put 3 half double crochets in the corners so that it gives it enough room. When you get to a corner, you want to have 3 stitches in it. And so regardless if it's a side or if you're on the end of the rows, you're going to just have to fuss a little, but you need to make sure that there's 1 on one side. On this one, there's no post in the middle. Okay, let me pull this apart here. I'm going to put the corner one in that little stitch right there. So this doesn't have to be precise. You just need to get an extra stitch in that corner, and then we will put 1 here. So you have 3 total. You have 1 for this side, 1 directly in the center, and 1 on the next side, and then you can continue around. So as I turn the corner, you're going to see that this looks different. This is the end of the row. So I'm going to do another half double crochet nice and tight up here to finish out my corner. And now on this side, I need to do the same thing, but my posts look different. I'm just going to go in the row. So let me go slow here and see, here is a row, and I'm going to go up through that on the post. Here's another end of a row. And then there's a little bit of a gap. So I'll go on this one. And you just have to meander across because the ends of the rows obviously look different than your edge. But I want to show you what we have going. So let me pull that out. So as you can see, we have, this is the long row in the corner here. You work to get 3 half double crochets in the corner, however you need to have them gapped. And then we're going to do the same thing all the way down this side, just going around these ends, treating them as the post that you're going around, and continue and do this until your side is roughly 3 inches tall. When you finish your first row, I'm going to put my 1 for this side around there, and it is a little tricky. I'd have to say spacing these out at the end of the row is a little different than when you have a stitch to go around. So don't stress about it, just get them in there the best you can. So I have 1 on this side, our beginning one had one on that side. I still need to put an extra stitch right here in the corner. Then we're going to slip stitch the 2 together, going to chain 2, and you're going to start again. And now you're just going to be doing regular half double crochets in the top of the previous row. There, that's going to make a really good look. After your first row, when you get to your corners, we are not going to do any increasing. Just go with the stitches, just put 1 in each stitch down below and continue around, then joining up with your beginning stitch and go on to your next row. But we're not going to increase. We increased on the first one so that we could get it a nice and good shape. So on the second row and the future rows, just go in 1 stitch in each of the one down below, and you should be able to get a nice rectangle standing up for your carrier. My sides are now 3.5 inches tall, and for my size hook and tightness of crocheting, that is 9 rows. So whatever works for your yarn, get it the height that you want. So when you're going around and around, you probably will start losing track that you're joining a new row. It just kind of melds in. So count to make sure that each side has the same number of rows, which is 9 in this case. So to start tapering it in, I am just going to slip stitch, and that just means you're just moving over. I didn't make a stitch, I'm just traveling over, and I'm going to do that 3 stitches. And so that's just getting my beginning point in just a little ways. So after you've slip stitched, we're going to do half double crochets across till there's 3 stitches left on this end, and then we'll build it in sort of like a pyramid. So I'm going to chain 1, and then in the next stitch do a half double crochet in each one all the way across. So this is my corner, and I am going to stop on this stitch here. So we have 1, 2, 3. This one here will be my last one, so I need to do 2 more. So this is the first one, so that's 1. I'm going to slip stitch in number 2, and I'm going to slip stitch in number 3. I'm going to chain 1, and I will do half double crochets across until I'm 3 from the other side. After those 2 rows, turn and scoot in the 3 more one more time. And now I am going to roughly count. So here's 1, 2, 3 from this side. I'm going to count how many stitches are between here and my crochet hook, and I'm going to do that many chains. So that's 20 stitches. On mine is 20 stitches. So I'm going to chain 20, do it nice and loose, not really tight. So that's 2, 3, and in the same stitch that we would have stopped on our other rows, 1, 2, 3. So this one right here, we're going to do a half double crochet. And it's a little kind of weird the way the chains are, but you can pull it through to get your stitch. So there you have the beginning of your handle. At this point, chain 1, turn your project, and we are going to do a half double crochet in each chain. So here's the handle. I want it to be nice and smooth like this end, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and slip stitch into this bottom stitch there. Now chain 1 again, turn your project, and now we're going to go back and in the top of each half double crochet do 1 more half double crochet. So I skipped that chain 1 spot, and we'll half double crochet. Yeah, so that'll be the thickness of the handle. To cover up the step ups here, we're going to put a border. We're going to put an edge around that, so that'll smooth out. So continue across with your half double crochets. When you get to the end of this one, just fasten it off. Okay, so we're at the end. I'm going to do 1 more. I want to do a slip stitch in that bottom one there, and just going to cut my thread and fasten this off. And we are going to put the border, so while I'm here on this spot so that I don't forget it for later, I'm just going to weave that tail into this top row, and it will get caught and hidden by our edging. So just snake your tail through to hide. So there's that handle. So now we need to match that on this side. So you're going to have to start a new row with your slip knot, find your corner, count in 3, 1, 2, 3. In the third one, go ahead and attach your yarn. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to half double crochet across. Catch this tail in your tunnel of your stitch, and you'll continue across till you're 3 in and go back and forth until you've duplicated the same thing we did over here, decreasing in each 3. And go ahead and fasten off when you're done with that one, and we'll do the edging. After you complete your other handle, so I have my 2 handles done, I am just going to put a half double crochet edge all the way around, at least 1 row, maybe 2, so you can decide what look you're looking for. So at this point, just chain 1 and then evenly space half double crochets in the end of the rows all the way around the top of your carrier. And then when you get to the end, decide if you want to go another row. If not, fasten off and you will be done. Here is my finished casserole carrier. Absolutely handiest little thing I've ever had in my drawer, so I thought I wanted to show you guys how to do it. If you have any questions while you're doing your project, please comment down below. But as always, thank you for watching DIY on the house.